What is going on, everyone? This is James. How you all doing today? And welcome to my next top 20 list. And for today, I'm going to be doing my top 20 favorite horror movies. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop. Since Halloween is approaching, I thought it would be a fun idea to talk about horror movies. Now, as you guys know, in my very first video, when I first started YouTube, just like when I did my top 20 favorite video games, I said I really do love horror movies. And so I thought, like I said, since Halloween's approaching, I thought, why not talk about horror movies? What are my personal favorite horror movies? So I thought this would be a fun idea to do. So for this list, I'm going to talk about the horror movies that are from classic horror movie franchises, or some standalone movies, or even some new modern horror movies that I surprisingly like and I thought they were pretty good. So let's get right into this. And also, just a reminder, guys, these are just my opinions of these horror movies that I personally like. If you guys have like a different different favorite horror movie, that's fine. That's fine. I'm always excited to hear what are your top 20 favorite horror movies. But these are just like my personal favorite horror films. So yeah, let's get to this. So let's get started. Our number 20 on the list is The Black Phone. The Black Phone is a suspenseful thriller horror. It's about this kid that got kidnapped by this grabber who he manipulates his boy to help him to pick up the food. And once he falls into his trap, he grabs the boy and then just threw him into the truck. And then he takes him into this dungeon in his house. So the kid, this main boy, is like getting like calls from like these dead people, especially his friends from school that the grabber had killed when he kidnapped him, and they're like telling him the tips of like how to like escape from the grabber, and then so he can like survive and make sure that the grabber doesn't kill him. I saw this movie once when it came out in theaters. I didn't see the film again, but I thought it was pretty suspenseful, and I actually really thought it was a pretty good horror movie. The suspense is actually really terrifying, and there were some like really like creepy moments throughout the movie. Like, this movie does tell us that it teaches us like you have to be like really careful with strangers, because they can be very, very manipulative. And yeah, like, and if you really want to like watch like a suspenseful horror film where you actually wanted to like survive and you want to like escape from the kidnapper, then The Black Phone is one of those movies that you should guys go check it out for yourself. Number 19 on the list is a shark movie, and it's not the only shark movie I include on this list, and it's Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea is the 1999 shark movie that stars Thomas Jane, Samuel L. Jackson, and LL Cool J. This was the third shark movie that I watched when I was getting into sharks, and I become a shark fan. This movie was a lot of fun. The characters, I thought they were pretty good, and the acting is actually great, especially Samuel L. Jackson and LL Cool J. LL Cool J and his bird are just over the top with this movie. And the sharks, which are the Makos, are extremely terrifying, where these people are like working in this this scientific place like around the ocean, and then they caught like two Mako sharks, and they once the sharks were just wreaking havoc and they're just start killing people, they had to find a way to escape and defeat the sharks. This is actually a fun movie. I liked it. The Mako sharks actually look really spooky and creepy. If you guys thought that the sand tiger sharks and the great white sharks look scary, you look at those two Mako sharks and you're gonna be like, oh, now that's a face only a mother could love. And then the movie has like one of the most like funniest deaths, but also scary at the same time, where Samuel L. Jackson's character was telling the survivors that they're gonna find a way to escape and there'll be no fighting. But then like he was standing like on the spot where the water is, and then like the shark grabs him and they just like drag him underwater. Even though the shot looks kind of bad, but it's actually kind of hilarious because I think the Mako sharks in this movie were made like of CGI, and I know CGI can be hit or miss, you know, like especially in modern movies when the CGI looks rushed and fake. But this movie is actually enjoyable, and the soundtrack, I really love the soundtrack by LL Cool J. It goes like, deep as blue as my hat, it's like a shark's fin. Yeah, that is actually the kick-ass song I actually have ever heard in the Shark movie. I like when they play that song in this movie, and I listen to that song when I watch every single Shark movie, because who doesn't like a rap song about sharks, right? But yeah, Deep Blue Sea, if you have not seen it, please go check it out. I recommend it. Our number 18 on the list is Halloween H2O 20 Years Later. Now, despite its dumb title, I really like this movie. Is it perfect? Not necessarily. Is it a good sequel? Yes. The only negatives I have with this movie is that I felt like Michael Myers' mask looks so CGI, and you see his eyes too much and it really makes him less scary. I always thought Michael Myers is much scarier when you don't see his eyes, when he wears this mask that looks like the face of William Shatner, except his face is white. And there were some like dumb moments in the movie where it gets like a little too like really slapsticky at times when Laurie fights Michael. But everything else about Halloween H2O was very good. Michael Myers looked exactly like how he was in the first movie, instead of looking like so bulky like a football player like in Halloween 4 and 5 or even 6. But Jamie Lee Curtis was really good in the role. She reprises her role as Laurie Strode, and then she has a son named Will. Not Will. What's his name? John. Yeah, John. Yeah, her boyfriend is named Will. Yes, she had a son and she has a boyfriend in this movie. And then when she meets Michael Myers after 20 years after the original, she decided to, like, instead of running away, she decided to fight Michael Myers back. And the fight between her and Michael was epic as hell. Because, like, she knows what she has to do to fight Michael Myers, and it really does end with this. It ends with this intense scene where they reach for each other like brother and sister because they're siblings, and then Laurie just cut Michael's head off by decapitating him. Now, and this could have been like a great conclusion to the Halloween series, but it's not, because Halloween Resurrection came out, and then it states that Michael Myers swapped clothes, kind of like Agent 47, which is pretty stupid. But I would pretend that Resurrection doesn't exist, and H2O would have been like the final chapter to the Halloween series. But aside from that, I really like this movie. Michael Myers, once again, looks very scary, despite the mask looking pretty fake, and then the eyes, seeing his eyes being shown doesn't really work. And Jamie Lee Curtis was really badass when she fights Michael during the climax. So yeah, I enjoyed Halloween H2O. All right, number 17 on the list. This is from my father, if he's watching this, and it's the first Saw. I want to play a game. Yeah. I don't remember a lot from the Saw movie series because I haven't watched a lot of them. But the first one, I remember I first watched it when I was watching this movie in the living room at night alone. And the movie centers around this guy named Jigsaw, and his real name is, I think his name is John, I think. Anyways, Jigsaw created all these different these traps to like torture people, and then he has this puppet named Billy. And when he turns on the TV when his victims were stuck into these traps, you see Billy the puppet on the TV, and then he would say like creepy lines like, "You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. Live or die. Make your choice." This is so terrifying like when Billy was talking to you and is giving you all these like tips of like how to get these traps off of you, and if you don't know how to do it, then the traps will kill you. And the ending of this movie was crazy. Like, the twist of this movie is that Jigsaw was on the bathroom floor with the two guys in the bathroom this whole time. And I'm like, what? How did I not even notice that he was in the freaking bathroom floor with these two guys that were stuck in the bathroom like this whole time throughout the whole movie? And then like he gets up when you see all these like flashbacks of the highlights of the movie, and then he turns off the light and the guy was like reaching for his hand. He's like screaming like he doesn't want Jigsaw to leave him, but then like he left him, and then he closed the door and then he says game over, and he closed the door, and then like that's how the film ends. It ends on a cliffhanger. So yeah, I like the first Saw movie. So you can say whatever you want about the Saw franchise, either you love it or hate it, but it was a huge success in the 2000s, and then it spawned a lot of sequels, and just make this like one of those horror franchises of the 2000s. But yeah, like this is from my father, because you know he loves the Saw movies. He's a huge fan of the Saw franchise. So yeah, I like the first Saw. It was very good. So yeah, I love Saw. All right, number 16 on the list is a Stephen King adaptation, Cujo. Yeah, Cujo is about a Saint Bernard. He was chasing chasing a squirrel or a bunny rabbit, and they got bit by a rabid bat, and then he got rabies inside him. And then what happens is that Cujo became so violent, and then he goes on a killing spree. And it was like this. I first watched this movie when it airs on AMC during AMC Fear Fest on Halloween, and it really makes me feel pretty sad that they make a horror movie based on man's best friend, because I love dogs. I'm a dog lover. I love dogs so much, and I love animals. But this movie is really messed up, especially at the end where this woman and her son are stuck in this car for a few days, and they couldn't get out of the car without any help because if they tried to get out of the car, Cujo would run towards them and attack them. And it's spooky, it's scary. And then there was a scene I really liked from this movie that I remembered, is when Cujo was growling at this guy, and then the guy was feeling like something was a bit off with the dog, and he was like, Cujo, who are you growling at? And Cujo was growling, and then Cujo snaps, and then he chases the guy into the house, and then he actually was ripping his flesh off. And I was just like, oh my god. And this dog is so vicious when he became so violent, and this is definitely like not the dog that you do not want to adopt or have it in your house when he has rabies, because this dog is vicious and it will kill you. So I thought Cujo was a pretty good Stephen King adaptation. I haven't seen a lot of Stephen King adaptations, with a few, and I never read any of the books by Stephen King, but this movie is also one of my favorites. Our number 15 on the list is Bride of Chucky. Yeah, Bride of Chucky, the fourth installment of the Child's Play series. A lot of people say Bride of Chucky is the best Child's Play sequel in the franchise, and I agree, it is. I like Child's Play 2 and 3, those are pretty good sequels, but Bride of Chucky was the sequel that I actually really enjoyed, because I like the story that after Child's Play 3, where Chucky was sliced, and then he was found by his girlfriend named Tiffany, played by Jennifer Tilly, and then she stitches up his face, she fixed him, and then Chucky came to life. And then what happens is that Chucky killed her by electrocuting her while she was relaxing in the bathtub, and then he revives her as a doll. And that's where Chucky and Tiffany, they go into this murder spree where they have their love and hate romantic feelings for one another. And it was really good. I thought, Brad Dourif is great as Chucky. He will always be Chucky to us because he has been an icon for voicing Chucky throughout the sequels, especially in the TV series. And season 3 is coming, which I'm really am excited for. Everything else I thought it was really good. Jennifer Tilly was also really good as Tiffany, and I also like John Ritter, the late John Ritter, rest in peace, man, as a cop. And I did not even recognize him when I saw him in this movie, because I remember John Ritter when he plays Jack Tripper in Three's Company, which is one of my favorite sitcom shows of all time. This whole movie was pretty good. It was more like a horror comedy movie, whereas like the first 3 Child's Play movies were more like straight up horror. What it also has, it has some comedic moments, but it actually does come off as like being serious with its tone. But Bride of Chucky has like its mix with horror and comedy together, and that's what I really like about this movie. So yeah, Bride of Chucky is one of my favorite Child's Play sequels in the series. So yeah, really enjoy Bride of Chucky. Our number 14 on the list might be cheating on this, but I want to do this to honor Wes Craven, and that is 4 Scream movies. I love the Scream movies. I love the Scream franchise. I was a huge fan of Scream, directed by Wes Craven. And I like Scream 5 and 6. Like, they were pretty decent movies, but nothing can top 4 Scream movies directed by Wes Craven. But yeah, like I said, I love the Scream movies. Love these cast of characters. Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Drew Barrymore, Jenny McCready from the 3rd one. I also love Hayden, who plays Kirby in the 4th one, and Ghostface is such an icon, and I remember a lot of people dress up as Ghostface throughout the 90s. Even when I was a child, I seen a lot of like people dress up as Ghostface for Halloween. The Scream movies, the first 4 movies, I thought they were really enjoyable. It's mixed up with horror, comedy, and they have all these like horror movie tropes that the fans have been like talking about since they love horror movies. And they talk about like the rules of how to survive a horror movie. And the kills from Ghostface is just crazy, and it was so brutal. And then you got to see like at the end of each of these films, like the killer reveals, just like unmasking a villain from Scooby-Doo. And I really had a great time. I had a great blast with these movies. Wes Craven, if you're watching this from heaven, I mentioned your 4 movies, and you made these movies so good. So this is for you, Wes Craven, buddy. All right, number 15 on the list. This is gonna make people be like, huh? What? That is 2003's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I know you guys are wondering, why not the original? Like, why would you put the remake on your list? Well, it's because I thought the remake was a little better than the original. Now, I like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I like it, but the remake, I thought it was interesting. And what I really like about this remake is that it doesn't copy the original at all, because this movie has a different family of psychopaths, and it has like different victims for Leatherface to kill in the movie. And I really thought that the cast did a great job. It's like Jessica Biel as Erin. She's the final girl in this movie. And the guy who plays Leatherface, I don't know his name, but he was also pretty good. And the guy that steals, the actor who steals the show in this movie was the late Arlie Ermey, who plays Sheriff Hoyt. This guy really does make you feel uncomfortable. Like, this is the sheriff that you do not want to approach, because he is not a good cop at all. He's not. And the climax was really terrifying when Leatherface was chasing Erin, and then she manages to defeat Leatherface, and he cuts his arm, and then he manages to rescue the babies from the Hewitts, and then she escapes. and then it shows us all these like these flashbacks of these like disturbing stories about Leatherface, and then it shows that all these like scary footage about like Thomas Hewitt, also known as Leatherface, and I really enjoyed the remake. I know the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is like really not the greatest. I mean, there are some like couple like other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies that are just like not that good, but it wasn't like a big disaster like some of the other ones. But I like the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I thought it was like one of my favorite horror remakes in the 2000s. I really love it. And it's also one of my favorite horror films in the 2000 decade. So yeah. If you guys really enjoy the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, check out the remake. It doesn't really copy the original for the most part, but it really tries to do something different. It has like a new timeline compared to the original. All right, number 14 on the list is Jaws. Steven Spielberg's Jaws is a classic. I love Jaws. It's one of my favorite shark movies, also one of the greatest blockbuster films of all time. This movie was it was based on the novel by Peter Benchley, and this movie stars Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw, and they play these characters named Chief Brody, Matt Hooper, and Quint. So they had to like go after the shark and killed it because the shark was attacking people around Amity Island while people were going swimming. So they had to go out there and hunt down the shark to save Amity Island. There's nothing really new to say about Jaws other than it's like one of the greatest summer blockbuster films of all time. When Steven Spielberg released this movie in 1975, it's one of the greatest films ever made, and I still think that Jaws really does hold up in the whatever is like is in the past or the present or the future. It's one of the greatest shark movies ever made. And the opening where Chrissy Walken swims and then she was attacked by a shark, but you don't see the shark at all, really does scare us. And it does scare me when I first watched it. And it will always scare us. It will make us to never swim in the water ever again. And every time I go to the beach, I do not want to go in the water because there's like shark sightings have been reported. And what I really don't understand is that if people know their sharks are out there and they will come to the beach, why would they still go swimming anyways? But other than that, I love Jaws. This is one of the greatest films ever made. John Williams' score is fantastic. Everything else is really good. The cast did a great job. The direction is great. The writing's great. Love the movie, and I thought it was a smart idea to not feature the shark when you hear John Williams' music plays. Yeah, Jaws is the greatest. If you have not seen Jaws, what is wrong with you? Please go check it out. It's one of the best. Number 13 on the list is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, A Nightmare on Elm Street, I love this movie. Robert Englund is iconic as Freddy Krueger, and I also love Heather Langenkamp as Nancy. She's the final girl who knows that her friends were being killed when they were sleeping, and then nobody believes her, and she's the only one who can stop Freddy from like going into people's dreams and killing them. And yeah, this movie is great. Robert Englund is really good. I really like when you don't see Freddy's face that much. You see his figure when he's been like in the dark shadows, making him creepy. And his lines were so scary when he says, "This is God," when he chases Tina. And then there was the other line where Freddy says, "Come to Freddy. Nancy, no running in the hallway." And there was one like scene where it was kind of funny where Nancy answers the phone and then Freddy says, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy." And then you see him stick his tongue out, and then Nancy freaked out, and then she completely destroyed her phone. And that was the funniest scene, despite the movie is scary. But that scene alone is where is where Freddy tries to like make out with Nancy, and then Nancy just like destroy her phone because Freddy's tongue was sticking out, was hilarious. And the kills are great, especially like when Nancy's boyfriend Glenn, played by Johnny Depp, was dragged down by Freddy in his bed, and then he turns into a blood sprinkler. And that was like one of the most iconic deaths I have ever seen in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So yeah, this is one of this is also like one of the best Nightmare movies in the series. I really love A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is one of my favorite horror films of the 80s. So yeah, go check it out if you have not seen it. Number 12 on the list is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Part 6 is my favorite Friday the 13th film in the series. Jason Voorhees is my favorite slasher villain. I really like this movie because it shows us like this movie shows us like how Tommy Jarvis manages to defeat Jason, and he's one of those people who actually killed Jason in part 4, and then he was getting like all these like traumatic memories from like the 5th one in part 6. So when he visits Jason's grave, he wants to make sure that he's dead. He is pretty dead, but then the dumbest thing that he did is that he brought his battery thing, and then once Jason got electrocuted, he was brought back to life. And then Jason is back, and they comes back into doing what he does, his business is killing people at Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah, part 6 is great. Jason is fantastic, and his design is just awesome. And the kills are great. Has a really good soundtrack by Alice Cooper when he sings Teenage Frankenstein and The Man Behind the Mask. Those are such classic songs. I really love these songs. Jason is just amazing. I really love the Friday the 13th series. Jason Voorhees will always be my favorite slasher villain in the horror genre. If you're a Friday the 13th fan, you're gonna go check this out. Also, guys, this is not the only Friday the 13th movie that is going to be on this list. So you're gonna see like what's gonna be coming up sooner. All right, number 11 on the list is 2 chapters. It Chapter 1 and 2. The remake version of It. Not the miniseries, the theatrical movie version. It Chapter 1 and 2, I really enjoy them. Bill Skarsgård is creepy, and his design as Pennywise is scary. And wow, he did a great job of making him a terrifying boogeyman who has the form of a clown, and he can shapeshift into anything scary that would taste children's fears. And then the Losers Club did a great job. Like the cast who played the kids and the one who plays the adults, they were really good. I really root for them to like fight Pennywise. And the beginning where Pennywise bites Georgie's arm off, my God, it was so really messed up. And when I saw that in the theater, I couldn't even like keep my eyes on the big screen when I saw Pennywise bit Georgie's arm. It was so messed up, and it was so horrific and gruesome. Oh my God. Yeah, Pennywise, if you guys thought Tim Curry's Pennywise was terrifying, Bill Skarsgård is worse. Because Tim Curry does look like an ordinary clown. He was more like a comedic clown. But Bill Skarsgård Pennywise, yeah, sure, he does have some funny moments, but but for the most part, he is so terrifying. He's very scary. The town of Derry is like the town I don't want to like go to, because all these like people were just like, well, not people in general, but like the adults are just beyond ridiculous and mean, and they're so rude and disrespectful. But the Losers Club that you want to root for are the ones that you can trust to defeat Pennywise. And yeah, like these 2 chapters are really good. And that's not the only time you see Pennywise. You get to see Pennywise in Space Jam: A New Legacy, where he was in the crowd watching the basketball game. Yeah, I'm not even joking, guys. Pennywise is in a Looney Tunes movie with LeBron James, and he is watching basketball. Wow. But yeah, It Chapter 1 and 2, I really loved it. If you guys love Stephen King, if you love Pennywise, please go check these movies out. All right, top 10. Number 10 on the list is another shark movie, which I did review this summer, is The Reef. Okay, I'm going to go very briefly about The Reef because I did a review for this movie. I don't want to get into too many details. If you guys want to see my thoughts on The Reef, go check it out. But the movie itself, The Reef, this movie really still hits me so hard after I saw the ending of this movie. It did not end so happy because you know, Kate and Luke were the last survivors, and then the shark follows them when they're swimming up to the island. Kate manages to climb up to the island, but Luke wasn't so lucky. The shark dragged him. Kate is the only survivor. She was found by a fishing boat, and then she was rushed to the hospital. Yeah, it's pretty scary, but yeah, very sad, very terrifying. But everything else, I really like The Reef. It's very beautifully atmospheric in the beginning after the movie. The cast did a great job, especially Zoe Naylor. She's gorgeous. I love her. She's beautiful. The shark is real life shark. I like when they do that instead of making CGI or practical effects. The real shark footage is great and it's very suspenseful, very scary. So yeah, go check out The Reef if you guys haven't seen it. Our number 9 on the list is the original Halloween, directed by John Carpenter. Halloween is an iconic movie of the 70s that John Carpenter directed. Michael Myers, played by Nick Castle, and many other actors who played him, they did really good. Jamie Lee Curtis was really good as Laurie Strode. I love Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis. And the opening where Michael Myers killed his sister when he was 6 years old, it's just an iconic opening in horror cinema. And the cliffhanger where Michael Myers is on the loose after when Dr. Loomis shoots Michael to save Laurie is one of the best cliffhangers ever, in not just in horror, but in movie history. The score's fantastic. There's not a lot of like, the deaths are really not that violent, you know, like as a lot of people would say it is. But when Michael kills one guy named Bob, and then he just like hangs him by the closet when he stabs him like this, it makes me go like, ah. and then like and then, you know, it's just like, you know, something like you really didn't bring your flashlight with you, or you don't even like turn on your light, you just like roaming in the dark, and then Michael Myers grabs you and they just like stabs you right in the chest, like you kind of, like he turns you into a Halloween or a Christmas decoration. It's just like, wow, my goodness. So yeah, like there's no reason like why Michael Myers was doing this. Like he doesn't really have like a motivation of why he kills people. You know, he's just evil. He just snapped. There was no like, oh, he drowned in a lake, oh, he had a dysfunctional family, oh, like he wasn't treated right, or he never had a girlfriend in his life. No, he just did that for no reason, because he's evil. But, John Carpenter's Halloween, it will always be a classic horror film of the 70s. If it wasn't for John Carpenter, then this movie would not be that great, but it was really good. I really like the original Halloween. Our number 8 on the list is a shark movie that I reviewed when I started beginning YouTube, Shark Night. Yeah, like I said about The Reef, did a whole review for this movie. I don't want to get into too many details. If you want to check out this movie, go check it out. Check my review for this movie. I meant. Shark Night. Yeah, Shark Night. This shark movie to me, I think, is underappreciated, and it's I think people overhated it, which I understand, but this movie's a lot of fun. I really thought it was actually a fun shark movie. And when people think about, you know, movies that has like more species than one shark, people think of Sharknado, but they don't understand that it wasn't Sharknado. Sharknado was not the first shark movie that has more sharks. It was Shark Night. Shark Night was made first. Everything else about Shark Night, I really like it. Were there some dumb things? Yes. Were there some moments where it doesn't work? Yeah, there were some things that don't work, but there are really good moments in this movie. I love the character. I like the characters. The characters are great. I like Sarah Paskin. I like Sarah Pelsky. I also like Nick, Gordon, Beth. I also like Malik. Yeah, he's like the tough guy. Yeah, he's cool. The cast did a great job, and this was David R. Ellis's final film that he directed before he passed away. And this is the shark movie that I wanted to see a sequel to so badly, because this movie ends on a cliffhanger where Nick and Sarah and her dog Sherman are the three survivors, and there were more sharks out there. And the rap song at the end of the movie was really good. Now, do I think it's better than the it has like a shark spin from Deep Blue Sea? Not necessarily, but it's fun. It's a fun rap music. I thought it was pretty cool. The sharks are a mix of practical effects and CGI. The animatronic sharks, I thought they looked good. The CGI ones, I don't think it looks the best. But the best part about these sharks is where they jump out of the water, which is great. And that's what people complain about. They were just like, oh, shark can jump out of the water. Really, guys? Have you seen a shark like jump out of the water when you watch like freaking Shark Week, or even watch like Planet Earth? The great white shark and mako sharks, they can jump out of the water. So have you, like, to those people who have not seen the shark jump out of the water, they won't understand of like why the sharks jump out of the water in the movie. But Shark Night was really good. I thought it was fun. Again, I think it's very underrated. I really wish people really need to give this movie a chance, especially if you love shark movies. Do I think it's perfect? No. Do I think it deserves the hate? No. I liked it. It's I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 when I did a review for this movie. But yeah, other than that, I thought Shark Night is really good. So give it a chance if you guys didn't like it at first. Our number 7 on the list is another remake, Friday the 13th, 2009. Yeah, the Friday the 13th remake was made by the people that did the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and the movie stars Jared Padalecki, Danielle Panabaker, Travis Van Winkle, Derek Mayers, and Juliana Gill. And I like this remake. It wasn't like a great masterpiece, but it was good. I thought Derek Mayers did a great job as playing Jason, and when he kills people, he just went beast mode when he goes on a murderous rampage. This Jason is actually like the most brutalist, like the most like toughest version of Jason I have ever seen in the franchise, even compared to the other Jasons, especially to Kane Hodder, who plays Jason in parts 7 to 9. No, not to 9, to Jason X. Yeah, there's good moments. There's some pretty fun moments. It has some really enjoyable moments in the movie. Nothing too new about this movie, other than it's basically like the remake of the first 3 films, where you see Mrs. Voorhees being decapitated, then you see Jason wearing the potato sack, and then he wears the hockey mask. So that's basically about the remake. Also, what I also really enjoy about this remake is not just Jason and goes on killing people, but Juliana Gill's character Bree, when she dances, it really grabbed my attention. And yeah, I did talk about her on my top 20 favorite female characters. I loved her. I really wish that she was the final girl, because I think she's the only like interesting character in the movie, but she dies, which I was so pissed off at. But because I really love Bree, and the way how she steals Trent from her best friend, it's just crazy. And I do think that she really does steal the show throughout the whole movie. But everything else, I liked it. Is it perfect? Not necessarily. Do I like it? Yes. Isn't as good as the original? It depends, like, on which of the Friday the 13th installments that you watched. But I thought this remake is pretty good. I really enjoyed the remake of Friday the 13th. So if you guys have not seen it, please go watch it. All right, number 6 on the list. This is for my sister if she's watching this, and this is also for my friend Pete if he's watching this too. It's Megan. Yeah, Megan this was a new horror movie that I really, really like. It's about this little girl named Katie. She lost her parents in the car accident, and then she moves in with her aunt named her name Gemma or Gamma, I think that's her name. And then she built this android doll named Megan, where she created her to like protect Katie from harm and make her happy. And then once she built her, they develop a friendship. And yeah, it's kind of like pretty much like the remake of Child's Play. So this movie is kind of like Child's Play but for girls. But I thought this movie was pretty good. I saw this movie twice in theaters, and then I watched this movie like about over like 5 times, because I watched it with Pete, and then I watched it with my sister, and it was really good. And then yeah, the movie is rated PG-13. So it's definitely like not the goriest movie, because you're not going to see a lot of like blood, when Megan kills people. But if you guys watch the unrated version, I heard the unrated version was better, because like the movie was originally supposed to be rated R. When I saw the trailer, it was kind of misleading. But when they released the unrated version, and then you see like when Megan kills her victims, you kind of see like people bleeding to death, and you see like half of the gore. And then you get to hear Megan, and some other characters say a couple of F-bombs. But it just kind of like feels a little too phony and fake. But I would say like if you really want to watch Megan, watch the unrated version. I think the unrated version is actually much better than the theatrical version, because I felt like I would have liked to see like if Megan was rated R. I thought that would have been like pretty interesting, kind of like other movies like not just from horror but one from action, like Violent Night, like with Dave Harbour as Santa, and that movie is an R-rated Christmas movie, and I love it. Megan was really good. I enjoy Megan. I'm really looking forward to a sequel, and I was so shocked that the movie did very well at the box office. It made tons of money, and I am looking forward to see a sequel. I really hope the sequel will have its R rating. I doubt that, but I would have liked to see an R-rated version of the Megan sequel, because Megan is one of my is now becoming like one of my new favorite horror movie, and I think she is welcome to be part of the new horror icon characters. So step aside, Chucky, because there is a new killer doll in town, and she will give you a run for your money. and I also would have liked to see like a crossover movie with Chucky and Megan, like Chucky versus Megan. I think that would have been really cool to see. Not sure who would win in the fight though. It depends on which version of Chucky they're using, but other than that, I really like Megan. Megan is great. Love this movie. So yeah, I recommend Megan if you guys really like the modern Chucky movies and the original Child's Play. So yeah, go check it out. All right, number 5 on the list. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me, and I know I'm going to be very shocked to hear, but number 5 on the list is Jaws 3. Okay. I know you guys are wondering, why is Jaws 3 higher than the first one? Are you nuts? Okay, so, but before you guys get too excited, let me explain why I put Jaws 3 higher than the first one. It's because Jaws 3 was the first Jaws movie I watched before I saw the original. I didn't know that there was like Jaws sequels by the time that I went to Blockbuster with my father, and I saw one of like every single like Jaws DVDs from like the first one to the fourth. And Jaws 3D, or 3 if you want to call it, because the movie's also in 3D, is the movie I actually wanted to check out, because I like this idea of a concept of a Jaws movie that takes place in SeaWorld, and they decided to like take a break from Amity Island. And the SeaWorld experience in this movie, I thought it looks nice. I really do think it was an interesting idea. Now, is it a good movie though? No, but do I think it's fun? Yes. It's like one of those movies where it could be considered a guilty pleasure. And to me, I think Jaws 3 is a guilty pleasure. Yes, I'm so sure, like some of the effects are kind of bad, but the movie tried its best to be scary, and there's some good moments, there's some good character development. I like Dennis Quaid as Mike Brody. I like what's her name? Bess Armstrong as as his girlfriend, Morgan, Catherine Morgan, I think that's her name. Could be wrong though. I also like Leah Thompson playing the water skier Kelly, and her chemistry with Sean is very romantic and cute. And the sharks, they can be like a mixed bag when it comes to it, because like sometimes the sharks look scary and there are times where the sharks are really not that scary. There are some pretty like bad effect moments in this movie where it gets so hilarious. And the world and the sea world and the world of SeaWorld is beautiful. Seeing like all these like different types of ocean animals is just really nice to look at. Like you see the dolphins, like you see the killer whales and the beluga whales and any types of fish. It's just really nice. And the soundtrack, while not as iconic as the original, the soundtrack is very beautiful, and there's some beautiful music, and there's some pretty scary music when the shark approaches, when it goes like when you see the dorsal fin. And yeah, Jaws 3D, aka Jaws 3, may not be a good movie, but it's my guilty pleasure. And yeah, I know some people are going to be really shocked, and I know people are going to be so angry that I put this movie higher than the first one. I like the first one, it's good. I just feel like Jaws 3D doesn't really get the credit it deserves. It's not a great movie. It does have some pretty bad effects, but I actually would prefer this over Jaws: Revenge, because that is a horrible movie. That film's bad. That film's garbage. But Jaws 3, I had a guilty pleasure for. So yeah, I like Jaws 3. All right, number 4. We're almost done, guys. Number 4 is the original Child's Play. Yeah, Child's Play. This movie is also one of my favorites. I really like Child's Play, the original Child's Play, where it talks about the Lakeshore Strangler named Charles Lee Ray, played by Brad Dourif. He was being chased by Detective Mike Norris. As you guys know him as the voice of Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And he shot Charles, and then he transferred his soul into a doll when he's using this voodoo spelling thing. And then Andy gets a good guy doll for his birthday, and then he realizes that something's really weird with this doll, and he knows his secret. And then Karen Barkley, Andy's mother, didn't believe Andy at first, but then there was a scene where Karen Barkley tries to make Chucky talk, and the way how Chucky speaks for the first time was so funny. When Karen was about to burn him, and then he was like, "I said talk to me or I'm gonna burn you into the fire," and then Chucky came to life, and then he was like, "You stupid!" It was it's just so hilarious. It does come off as like pretty dated, but the whole movie I had a great time. I had a great time with. And I thought the original Child's Play is a classic. Brad Dourif is a great film. It's very funny, and it was a great killer doll movie. Is Child's Play the first killer doll movie? No, not really. You know, Child's Play was not the first movie that has a killer doll. There's tons of killer doll movies that came out before Child's Play was made, but everything else, I thought Child's Play is a classic. I really loved it. So yeah, go check it out if you have not seen Child's Play. All right, number 3 on the list is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Yeah, which I think it's the 7th installment of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. But the concept here was really interesting because it centers around, what if Freddy Krueger was real? What if he existed in our world? That is a wonderful, great idea. Because this movie here is like a movie within a movie, and there's like you get to see Heather Langenkamp playing herself, Robert Englund playing himself. Then you see him on stage playing Freddy, and then you see him as the real Freddy, and yeah. The makeup on Freddy Krueger, I thought it was pretty creative. They actually gave him like a new updated makeover around him to making him look more scary, make him look like the menacing Freddy that we ever seen. The only problem I have with this version of Freddy is that they made his hat green, which I really don't think it works. and it doesn't really fit for him. I always prefer the dark brown hat throughout the previous installments, especially in Freddy vs. Jason. The green hat doesn't really do much for me. But that rant aside, I really do enjoy Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and I really like the idea of like what if Freddy Krueger existed in our world, and that is really scary. And the makeup on Freddy really does make him terrifying. And Heather Langenkamp, she did a really good job playing herself. And the only way that she can defeat this entity version of Freddy is that she has to play Nancy again, and what she did, and she manages to defeat Freddy. And then Freddy's defeated, and that was about it. So, yeah. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This one, along with Dream Warriors, are my favorite sequels in the series. I have like a guilty pleasure for Freddy's Dead, even though Freddy's Dead is not great, but I have a guilty pleasure for that one. But Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a very good sequel to the series. Not as good as the original, but but this one's good. All right, number 2 is Jason X. Jason X. Now, I know this movie knows what it wants to be. It wants to be bad, but it wants to be fun, because after 9 Friday the 13th movies, they were kind of like running out of ideas, so they were just like, okay, screw it. It's Jason Voorhees in outer space. Let's put Jason in outer space. And I thought it was like, it sounded so dumb and stupid, but it's fun at the same time. Having Jason Voorhees killing people in outer space, it's just fun. And then Jason like kills people in outer space, and then he fights this android lady, and then he got upgraded and again turns him into this some type of like mecha Jason. I don't know why they call him Uber Jason. That sounds stupid. It sounds weird because it has nothing to do with Ubers. but when he turns into Mecha Jason, or Cyber Jason, I would like to call him, he's just like so cool. And then he also like fights the guy that looks like Master Chief. So, Jason X. It's a fun movie. Is it good though? No. But is it entertaining? Yes, it is. It's a bad movie, but it was awesome to watch. Seeing Jason go to outer space, it sounds dumb, but it's fun at the same time. Go check out Jason X if you guys have not seen this. And yeah, I know you guys are not gonna like Jason X, but it knows what it wants to be. It knows it wants to be bad, but not frustratingly bad, but it's entertaining. So that's what I like about Jason X. All right, number 1 on my list is the one that started it all. Well, not started it all, but the one that really got me into horror movies. On my number 1 spot, it's Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah, Freddy vs. Jason. Place your bets. I did a review for Freddy vs. Jason. Did a review for this movie. Go check it out if you have not seen it. But Freddy vs. Jason is a lot of fun. This is one of those like crossover movies that you see 2 horror icon villains fighting each other. And I really wish that we got like more movies like this, because after this we don't really get them anymore. And Freddy and Jason, when they fight, it was bloody as hell, and it was great to see Freddy and Jason fight. And yeah, the side characters, the teenage characters, does kind of like drag the movie a bit, but you just want to see Freddy and Jason fight, just like in other movies like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, King Kong versus Godzilla, and Alien versus Predator. But Robert Englund is still great as Freddy Krueger. They actually made him be like the dark Freddy and the funny Freddy at the same time. And Ken Karinsky, I think that's his name, who plays Jason. He was pretty good as Jason, and he was pretty scary. I heard that King Hodder was originally going to play Jason, but then at times he wasn't able to, so he couldn't get the role. The movie itself is not really that scary as I thought it was, but it was actually more fun to watch because it feels more like a stupid action movie more than it is a horror film. And the kills that Jason has caused is just horrifically graphic. And Freddy only kills only one person or 2 people, so Freddy doesn't really get a lot of kills in this movie. Jason does all the killing in this movie because it feels more like his movie, whereas Freddy kind of feels like the puppet master. There's not a lot I can really say about Freddy vs. Jason. It's fun. It's really fun. I really like this movie. I really wish there was a sequel to this. There was a comic book sequel with Ash Williams from Evil Dead, but it was never made, which just sucks because I would have loved to see like more versus movies like this, with horror icon characters. But what we got with in 2003 with Freddy vs. Jason is fantastic. I thought it was really fun. The characters are just a kind of a mixed bag, but Freddy and Jason, when they fight, that's where the movie gets really interesting. So check out Freddy vs. Jason if you have not seen this. All right, guys. So that's about it for today. Yeah, this is just my personal favorite horror movies, and I know some of you guys are probably wondering, like, why not where's Hellraiser or Evil Dead? I have not seen them, so yeah, sorry. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of my list? Do you agree with my list, or you disagree? If you disagree, what is your top 20 favorite horror movies? I will love to hear your thoughts. So let me know in the comments below. And if you really enjoy my channel, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make a brand new video. So hope you guys enjoy this, and this is James, and I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, all right? So long, everybody. Peace out, folks.